Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. This is actually my first YouTube video with hopefully many more to come. Please subscribe so you don't miss any future content. In this particular video, I'll show you how I built a concrete form and performed the dry pour for my shed. So my little helper and I started by laying out the 2x4s in the designated area. Then we began removing the grass from the outline space. Okay, so this is where I begin measuring my preferred distance from the slab to the fence. Every state has its own regulations, so it's important to ensure your slab is not positioned directly against the fence. I personally recommend checking your local laws to determine the required distance for a structure from the fence. Okay, as you can see, I've already connected the back two corner pieces with screws. Now I'm putting in stakes to hold both of those corners up. I'm also using a leveler to make sure everything is even and leveled. So now you'll watch me go around all the sides and connect the 2x4, as well as install stakes on each side. Okay, so now I want to slow things down and show this side in more detail since it's closer to the camera. From this angle, you can see me using a drill and screws to connect the 2x4s. I'm also using a square, which I use for all the other corners as well. The square is essential for ensuring the pad is perfectly squared at 90 degrees. After connecting the 2x4s, I move forward with securing the stakes. As mentioned earlier, I use a level to ensure everything is even and properly aligned. Well, as you can see, I'm leaving a space in the middle. That'll be for a small ramp. And this is the finished form, ready for the concrete. Overall, this process took me about a full working day. Okay, so this is when the concrete was being delivered. I received a call probably around 6 a.m. Let him know the delivery guy was about 10 minutes out. Okay, so this gorilla cart was a lifesaver. I was able to load 4 to 5 bags onto the cart and wheel them to the backyard. So a total of around 50 bags were delivered. I managed to move half of the bags to the backyard using the cart, and then after moving half of those, I called it a night. Back the next day, this is still around half of the total bags. The logic here is to open and spread half of the bags, then put the wire mesh on top of it. Once I do that, then I'm going to put the other half of the bags on top of the mesh. This will make sure that the mesh is not sitting on the ground. It's sitting kind of in the middle of the pad. Okay, so this is the wire mesh I mentioned earlier. I purchased 2 of these, but as I'm putting these down, that's when I realized that I underestimated how much I would need. But I didn't feel like going back to the store, so I just utilized what I had. After putting these down, I zip tied them to each other. Now I will begin screeding the concrete using one of the extra 2x4 logs. As you screed, you should slowly add the remaining concrete bags where needed. Adding all of the concrete bags at once will make the process much more difficult to screed. Personally though, I highly recommend asking a friend for help, as I can admit this was quite tiring. After screeding, I realized that some of the rocks in the concrete were not sinking. And if I left them that way, it would result in a poor finish. So I did some research and found that the best way to get the rocks to sink is by screeding the concrete in a back and forth motion. As you can see, this is what I'm doing now, and this technique worked great. If you notice any rocks that aren't sinking, be sure to sprinkle some concrete over that area as you screed. This will help to make sure that the rocks sink down below. And again, this would also be easier with a 2-person team here. So once you finish screeding and you're happy with the results, it's now time to move to the next step, which is rolling the concrete with a paintbrush roller. This will give the surface a smooth finish, and then also make sure that the paintbrush is dry. And this is the result after using the paintbrush roller. Okay, so this is the final step in the process, which is watering. It's best to use one of these spray nozzles that you can adjust between mist and shower, because you want to use the mist setting first so you don't mess up the finish with a stronger spray setting. This is the recommended watering guide. You should water every hour on the hour. For the first 3 waterings, use the mist setting. After the 3rd watering, adjust the nozzle to the shower setting. The number of times you shower the pad depends on the thickness of the slab. Shower the slab twice for every inch of thickness. And after a day or 2 of the slab resting, go ahead and remove the wood forms. And this is the final product. But let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you.